Hey, fabulous eighth grade team. I know we are fixing to get into proportional relationships, linear relationships, slope, y-intercept, what that means. And I know our students are very familiar with doing linear regressions on the calculator, the TI-84s. That's typically what we've had. But I wanted to show you how Desmos does the same thing, how it's a lot easier to see, and just to make sure that all of you guys are on the same page and know how to do that. So the main focus of what we're going to do today is linear regressions. But before we started, I just wanted to make sure that you guys know how you can leverage Desmos or even the calculator when solving equations. Yes, our kids have to practice solving equations by hand. I am in no way saying don't solve equations by hand. However, when it comes to testing, when it comes to checking their answers, our kids shouldn't be punished for making careless mistakes. There's an easy way that students can go back and check if they're correct, that when it gets to a testing situation, that they can leverage the technology they're given to solve these equations. So if you look right here for the 8.8c, the 2018 test, what is the solution to this equation? 2x plus 3 equals x minus 4. And we know, what does that mean? A solution is where those two things are equal. What does it mean to be equal? They intersect. There's going to be a line. So just to make sure that all you guys are aware, I hope you are, I'm sure you are, but the students can just put in one side of the equation in y1. They can come and put the second side of the equation in y2. Now, I've already changed my view here. I was working on it before I got to you guys, but students can very easily, it's the intersection. It's where they go. Most of you are using this on the TI-84s. You're having them calculate the intersection. The nice thing about Desmos is if you click on one of the lines, it's going to automatically find the intersection for you. None of this upper bound, lower bound. It's just right here. And it's very easy for students to see. This is an open-ended, this is a griddable question that if we've been practicing griddables in our classroom, they can easily see, what is it that I'm looking for? Yes, I have an X and a Y. I don't need the Y in this case. I'm just looking at what X makes these two equations equal. Here, very easily, they could see -7. That's my answer. Bubble it in, and our kids are well on their way to being successful on the 8th grade STAR test. So that's just a little side note, not really what we're here for. Just want to make sure that you guys have every bit of information available to ensure that our students are as successful as possible on the exam. So really what we came here for is talking about slope, y-intercepts, and linear regressions using Desmos. So if you'll come over here, what we're going to be practicing on is the 8.4c, using the data from a table or graph to determine the rate of change or slope, and y-intercept in mathematical and real-world problems. So I've chosen the 2016 test right here that you can see. Talks about Carolyn having stamps. Our kids are really good at writing the equations given the information. They understand, for the most part, that a flat fee, that's the y-intercept. That's the number that stands alone. And if it's a monthly fee or if it's a per cost, that goes with the slope. What we're about to do with Desmos allows you to have those truly deep mathematical understanding conversations with kids. It's not just about we're getting stuck in the computations, we're getting stuck in the calculations. We can have deep, meaningful conversations with students about what it means. So for example, on this question right here, Carolyn will buy the same number of stamps every month to add to a stamp collection her grandfather gave her. The table shows the number of stamps Carolyn will have at the end of X months. So here's the table, and then the question is, how many stamps was Carolyn given, and how many stamps will she buy every month? So we understand in this that what we're looking for is the slope and the y-intercept. We can have that conversation with kids. What does slope mean? What does y-intercept mean? So I wanted to show you guys to make sure that you knew how to do the linear regression in Desmos. So if you come over here, yes, we're in the Texas STAR. We make sure that this works for this. So we're going to come over here and we're going to put our table in. It gives us this information. So I'm just going to put the information from the table in. So 1, 250, 3, 350, 6, 500, 10, 700. So here we have our table. We have our information. It's graphed. I can't see it. They could zoom out if they wanted to, but we're talking up here in 700 numbers. So if you want to, you can train your students just to come put your minimums in here. You definitely want to make sure that you're doing this when you're modeling for students so that it's easy to see. So my X's go from 1 to 10. I'm going to go a little bit higher. And then over here, my Y-axis, I'm going to start at 0 just so that they can see it. And then I'm going to go up to 900. So as you can see right here, I can see my graph. Now I can see all of my points. And the nice thing is when you're doing Desmos for the linear regressions, we're used to doing this. In the calculator, you put the list in L1, you put the Y's in L2, calculate the linear regression. This does it the same way. It's going to give you the same information, but it's very nice because all you have to do in here is train students. The equations already give, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the slope and the y-intercept. Well, there's a slope y-intercept form of an equation. It's going to give me everything that I need. So from here, here's how you do the linear regressions in Desmos. You're just going to type out the slope-intercept form of an equation. So up here, you just have to make sure it's the same thing when we did the transformations. We're dealing with x1 and y1 because we have a table. So that's what I need to put. So you're just going to type out the slope-intercept form. So y1, and here's what we want to do. We want to approximate the slope and the y-intercept. Well, in math, what term is for approximate? We use the tilde. So they can press shift and get the tilde next to the 1. Or if they don't want to do that, you can find it down here. If you'll open the keyboard down at the bottom, show the keyboard, you'll come down here to the ABC where they would get letters. And then it's here on the bottom row. You can see 2 over from the blue return. They have a little tilde. They could choose it there as well. So y is approximately, and then you just type it out. M for the slope, x1 plus b for the y-intercept. And here it's already done for them. So look, M, which is our slope, is 50, meaning that's the change per month. B is 200. That's my starting point. That's what the y-intercept represents. And this is what I mean, because it does it so beautifully, it puts the line in here between the points for you. You can have those deep conversations. So now we come back over to my answer choices. I know that B, that's my starting point. That's how many she was given. So Carolyn was given 200 stamps. So now I've narrowed it down to A and D. And I come back over here. My slope is 50. That's my month. That's how many she's adding every month. So I can easily see that my answer choice is A. Carolyn was given 200 stamps and she'll buy 50 stamps every month. This is super easy. All you have to do is put it in slope-intercept form, put the tilde. To me, that's much easier for your kids to remember than all the steps, the second, calc, linear regression, putting in the L1 and L2. It's right here, y1 tilde m x1 plus b, and it does it for you. This would also work for the scatter plot questions. It doesn't necessarily ask you to find the slope and y-intercept for scatter plots, but what it does have you do is find a prediction a lot of times. So let's just say, I know it doesn't in this case, but what if this question asked, using the information, approximately how many would Carolyn have at 8 months? Which is what the scatter plot questions ask. So if I were able to plot the points for the scatter plot, I could create the trend line. And then if you click on the line, which I'm doing here, it will allow you to move the slider. If your kids have the touch screen, they can just very easily touch the line. And if it asked me how many stamps would Carolyn have at 8 months, I could scroll up to 8. And right here, I could see she would have 600 stamps at the 8-month mark. Very, very easy to make predictions. So again, this is how you do it. I don't want to take up any more of your time. Hopefully many of you knew this. If you didn't, I just wanted to make sure you had that information. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer anything you have. And I hope you guys have a fabulous week and look forward to seeing how successful your students are.